What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below right now, as it's completely free to do so. And this way you won't miss out on new videos that come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember those times so you don't miss out. And also, thanks for hitting the like button for us down below. We got a lot to talk about here today. Congress has reached a solution to a deal. We'll talk about that here in this video. And how there's a large call for new stimulus checks. We'll go over that in this video as well. And here's what the president is saying now. Check this out.
Today, I'm announcing the United States is targeting the main artery of Russia's economy. We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. That means Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine. This is a move that has strong bipartisan support in the Congress and, I believe, in the country. Americans have rallied to support the Ukrainian people and made it clear we will not be part of subsidizing Putin's war. Russia may continue to grind out its advance at a horrible price, but this much is already clear. Ukraine will never be a victory for Putin. Putin may be able to take a city, but he'll never be able to hold the country. And if we do not respond to Putin's assault on global peace and stability today, the cost of freedom and to the American people will be even greater tomorrow.
That's President Biden yesterday at the White House announcing the United States no longer will import Russian oil, the latest move to economically isolate Moscow in response to its invasion of Ukraine. Joining us now, Deputy National Security Advisor for International Economics, Dalip Singh. He also serves as Deputy Director of the National Economic Council. Mr. Singh, it's great to have you with us this morning. This, even a week ago, as we've been discussing this morning, was seen as an extreme step to completely cut off the flow of Russian oil to the United States. Last week, we heard Speaker Pelosi come out in support of the idea, then Majority Leader Schumer come out in support of the idea, and then yesterday, the announcement from you all at the White House. Can you talk about how you came to this decision and why you believe it's significant?
Morning, Willie. Well, look, we're committed to making this brutal and needless war of aggression by Putin a strategic failure. We've already landed a debilitating hit on his economy. It's in free fall. His currency is worth much less than a penny. Stock market's been shut for 8 days. Country's been downgraded to junk. The private sector is leaving in a mass exodus. But there's no sector of Putin's economy that's safe. So we're hitting him where it hurts most. That's energy. That's where Putin's economy, that's the only place where it has relevance in the global economy. And now we're taking aim at that as well.
Russian oil obviously makes up a relatively small percentage of what we do import and use here in the United States. There have been some concerns, even among Republicans who have backed this idea and support what you all are doing on Russian oil, who worry about spiking gas prices. What can you say to people watching today already paying an average of $4.17 a gallon about what may be coming at the pump?
First of all, I'm glad to live in a country where 70% of the people out there believe in holding Putin to account, even if it means higher gas prices. That was heartening to see that poll earlier this week. But the president has said, we're going to tell the truth. This war by Putin is not going to be costless. It's not going to be painless. Gas prices at the pump have been up 75 cents since he started to amass troops on Ukraine's border in early November. That's hitting families and businesses across the country, especially lower-income households that pay a higher share of their income in energy. But look, there are things that we can do. We need to boost supply all over the world, starting at home. The private sector has the leases, it has the permits, it has the price signal. It should pump more. And we should find a way very quickly to speed our transition towards cleaner, more sustainable sources of energy. But there are also producers abroad, Willie, producers with spare capacity all over the world. It's time for them to use that spare capacity. And for those countries that have strategic petroleum reserves, and there are 1.5 billion of those across the world, this is the time to also release those reserves and deal with this acute supply shortage in energy markets.
Mr. Singh, how does the president's order affect pre-existing orders of oil and gas from Russia or pre-existing multinational contracts, which are very convoluted? How does it affect those two items?
Yeah, hi, Mike. No new contracts of Russian oil, Russian coal, Russian natural gas. But we are going to honor existing contracts for a period of time, and that's only meant to have an orderly wind down of cargoes on the water.
Does this situation in Russia and the need for more domestic production give you any pause and cause you to reevaluate the president's decision to cancel the permit on Keystone at all over environmental concerns?
No, that's a distraction, Willie. Keystone it's a pipeline. It's not an oil field. It doesn't produce any additional oil. Even if Keystone XL had been permitted last year, it would have been years away from completion. It wouldn't have helped in today's circumstance. And there is a portion of Keystone which is operational today, and it's not filled to capacity. So Keystone has absolutely nothing to do with the current supply-demand imbalance in energy markets. What I can tell you, though, Willie, is even if we drilled as much as we could, the price of oil is still set globally by the demand and supply conditions. And much of that supply is controlled by tyrants like Putin. And again, that's why we have resolved to speed our transition towards cleaner, more sustainable, and renewable sources of energy.
Separate topic before I let you go. Digital assets executive order on cryptocurrencies announced by the president. What are we talking about here, and what does it do?
So cryptocurrencies, Willie, you've heard, everybody knows, they're undergoing explosive growth, I think over $3 trillion in market cap. The implications for the United States are profound, to the ability of people to engage in the financial sector, to their protection from the volatility of these cryptocurrency assets, to the efficacy of our sanctions. Some countries tried to work around them using crypto, and to the primacy of our financial system in the global economy. The president issued this EO to articulate our national interest and set a course so we have a leadership seat at the table.
So there, they give you a little bit of insight on the Keystone XL pipeline. I get a lot of comments on that. Again, I've commented on that before. It's a pipeline. It doesn't produce oil. It just pipes oil. You know, I do get a lot of comments on that, they should open that. Of course, depends on what side of the aisle you're on there. But it does not produce oil. So just keep that in mind. I know there's a lot of people have different opinions on that. So I'll leave you to your opinions on that. But you heard what they have to say on that. Also, as I've been telling you, the price of oil is traded globally. And I actually have some really good news for you guys here today. The price of oil has actually plummeted here today. Actually, in one of my earlier videos, I think I showed you that the price of oil was around $125 a barrel. It has now, the bottom has kind of dropped out of it. It is now down to, WTI crude is down to 109, and Brent crude is down to 111. So it has dropped $15 a barrel each. So this is very, very significant, a huge drop in oil. So this should see a huge drop in gas prices. Of course, we know how the price in gas, it always seems to take longer for gas prices to fall as opposed to when gas prices go up. It seems like gas at the pump, they raise it almost the next day. But when gas prices fall, seems like these gas stations take a little bit longer to lower the price at the pump. Just kind of throwing that out there. But remember, just if you watch my recent videos, this Brent crude had actually gone up to over 130. Now it's down to 111. That's almost, well, that's a $20 a barrel drop. That's almost 20%. That's a significant decline. That will be really good for the price of gas as it comes down here in the future upcoming days. Remember, it's not instant, but if it stays there, that's a big if. A lot of that has to do with what Putin's going to do in the upcoming days. If he goes crazy, I mean, that it could easily go back up or go higher. So keep that in mind. And this comes as gas today is the highest one-day price ever in the history of the United States. The average today is $4.25. And a week ago, it was only $3.65. It's gone up 60 cents in a week. That's almost 10 cents per day. That's like 9 cents a day. It's gone up in just a week. So this just shows you how crazy it has been going up every single day. So finally, oil has dropped here. Like I said, it's dropped like $15 per barrel in just like less than 24 hours. So maybe even 12 hours. So I think that we're going to hopefully see a drop on this in the next upcoming days if oil stays down. So again, you watch the price of oil and you watch the price of gas, and they coincide with each other. So I will keep you up to date on this. Lawmakers say they have reached a $1.5 trillion deal on the government funding package here, which they have to pass by Friday to prevent a government shutdown. And there's several other things packaged in this deal. You can see the headline here, and here's a couple of the items in here. They still have to vote on this, but here's what they have kind of announced here so far. Congressional negotiators have reached a bipartisan deal on a $1.5 trillion sprawling omnibus package to fund the government. This is just the cost of what it takes to run the government nowadays. This is really no different than when Trump was president or when Biden's president. It's just how much it costs nowadays to run the government. It's just very, very expensive. This includes funding the defense of our country. It's just very, very expensive to fund our government nowadays. As pressure mounts on lawmakers to wrap up the spending talks under the wire amid ongoing crisis of Ukraine. They have to do this by Friday evening, Friday night at midnight, or else we'll have a government shutdown. The legislation includes what the Democrats have lauded as the biggest increase to non-defense discretionary spending in 4 years. A lot of it's because of the cost of inflation. The GOP has also touted a $42 billion increase for defense spending in the package. And with what's going on in the world, probably not a bad time to up our defense budget because, well, there's a crazy person out there right now. And we probably need to defend our country right now and make sure that it's well defended because we never know what we're going to need to defend ourselves from. Saying the deal achieves dollar for dollar parity for defense and non-defense increases. And it's probably just something that we need to protect ourselves from right now. The bill also will include about $14 billion in emergency funding to boost humanitarian, security, and economic assistance for Ukraine and Central European allies amid the Russian invasion. Now remember, $14 billion out of $1.5 trillion, that only accounts to about 1% of the bill, if I'm doing my mental math correctly. In addition to more than $15 billion in COVID supplemental funding offsets by rescission of previously appropriated funds. Top lawmakers unveiled text for the sweeping legislation to fund the government through the remainder of the fiscal 2022, which ends at the end of September, they announced today. The House is expected to take action on it today. House Democrats said leaders have told members to prepare for a vote on Friday, pending changes to the package. However, lawmakers remain hopeful that the bill will be on a fast track to President Biden's desk. Among some of the highlights in this government funding bill, Democrats have noted are a deal of historic funding boost for education, science, research and development, as well as climate change. More than $17 billion has been outlined for Title 1A grants to local education agencies. And the legislation includes a $400 increase to maximum Pell Grant awards, both of which Democrats say are the largest boost in more than a decade, which is really good news. Democrats say the measure would also expand funding in areas for affordable housing, including $280 million for 32,800 new housing vouchers, an 11% increase for affordable housing production via the HOME program, in addition to a 6% increase, or about $3.2 billion for homeless assistance grants. Pretty interesting there. When this passes, I'll try to see what I can drum up here about different type of grants and programs, stimulus type programs, what comes out of this. Remember, this isn't a stimulus program, but this is a government funding bill. But there is some programs like that in here, so we'll have to see what comes out of this. The party also boasts historic funding for the Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy to support investments in areas like vehicle technology, wind power, solar energy, in addition to a host of other climate investments. Republicans say the legislation will also go big on defense, which right now is probably well needed, with more than $780 billion set aside for the Department of Defense and other defense functions, as well as an 11% increase from the previous fiscal year for the Department of Homeland Security. Quote, there's no reason why we couldn't get it done by Friday, but if we need to, need Saturday or Sunday, then we'll do it then, which means we could have a temporary government shutdown if they don't have time to get this done. So yeah, leave it up to Congress to wait till the last minute for everything. In all fairness, though, with the war going on right now, I give them a little bit of a pass this time around because it's just been day after day. It's just been unexpected news. You literally wake up every day and it's like, all right, well, what happened? What happened overnight this time? Is Ukraine still there? Did Putin? What did he do? It's just like it's crazy. So I'll keep you up to date here. Absolutely crazy. We have more and more states just announcing more and more stimulus packages, stimulus checks. Sometimes they call it tax relief, tax rebates. They all have kind of different names for it, but a lot of times it's really just they're giving you money, they're giving you checks, they're giving you money in different ways. We have a lot of different things here. I actually have some more coming in the pipeline that I've already started to see here that I'll have for you here in the next day or two as I research it more. But it's just so much news coming out right now. It's just I have to actually pick and choose. To even cover in my videos here. But yeah, it's just absolutely crazy, and it's one of those situations where we have to actually increase military funding. You almost kind of got to think, especially on the Russian border over there on Alaska and California and Hawaii, you got to kind of almost think like, with Putin being so crazy, you almost kind of think if he sent jets over, if he sent a missile over, the U.S. has to be prepared to like shoot that stuff down. And the U.S. has the most advanced military in the world, but the U.S. has got to be prepared for that stuff at any given time. So it's not a bad time to bolster our defenses, especially on that border over there, because with Putin, it's just anything's possible. Anything's possible, especially now. He literally like makes these threats in the public. He literally says that anybody that interferes with his war on Ukraine is declaring war against him. So, and he openly says that if anybody does that, that he will use nukes. So, he literally says this in the open media. So the U.S. needs to have anti-missile defense systems like open and ready. Even needs to build more, and he needs to have systems on high alert and all this stuff ready just in case. Even if a very remote possibility, they need to be up in systems because if they haven't built new systems in a while, build more. Have everything ready just in case. Even if there's no remote possibility, it's hey, let's spend the money. I mean, we have $30 trillion in national debt. Now's the time to, like, hey, spend an extra couple billion just in case, right? Because I mean, they're spending $1.5 trillion just to fund the government until September. So think about that. So what's an extra couple $1 billion to defend our country with some things like that, just in case, because that's kind of more important than like anything, right? So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that, because I mean, with Putin, I mean, it's just, remember, he's right on the border he's literally right next to Alaska, and right downstream from California, Washington, and Hawaii. So you gotta kind of think about this stuff, because I mean, he literally openly says this in the media. It's not just hearsay anymore. He says this himself. So yeah, let me know your thoughts here. I'll keep you up to date here with everything. There's a lot going on, so don't miss out on any new videos. I'll keep you up to date with everything and stimulus checks coming out from states, cities, and counties, as well as what the federal government's going to do. Remember that to subscribe, if you haven't yet, it's completely free to do so. Help us reach 400,000 subscribers. We're almost there. We're at 399,000 and over 500. So we only need a few more hundred to reach 400,000. And this way you won't miss out on our new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember those times so you don't miss out on new videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And you can click here to see the newest stimulus check that was just announced for like several million people. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.